and gentlemen, and welcome once again.
Welcome back to Cannabis in Canada with Jason Wilcox. Wow, and Chad, Jackett. I mean, this has been an incredible. Welcome back to the show, Chad. Right off the hop. I mean, I got to jump into this. I'm sick as a dog on treatment, so I'm not even going to try to explain why I'm jumbling or mumbling around. But that being said, there's a lot to report on, such as stuff going on in Nanaimo, the ongoing monopoly, and first and foremost, our guest. I should first say, Chad, how you doing, brother? I know you can't see us.
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. I'm getting a lot of feedback here.
You getting a lot of feedback on your end?
Probably his end.
You guys getting that?
Yeah, we're good on this end.
All right. Anyway, yeah, I'm good other than the fact hearing myself back here. What's going on?
Move your mic back from your speakers.
Trying for once here.
How's that?
Hello.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah.
All right, technical difficulties. There you go. That's what it's like. Live and improv. We don't play around here. There it is. So, Chad, how you been this week, man? You look tired as hell, and that beard, I don't even recognize you anymore, man. You're like friggin'. How long are you planning on growing that thing?
As long as it takes.
As long as it takes. What is that? Until we beat the LPs? We beat the monopoly? What is it?
Yeah, we need to get what we need here. You know, the people need to have the weed freed, man. Free it.
You're gonna look like
people
like
People need to get their rights back. You know, the rights to be able to be free individuals and use whatever product they want to use, whatever plant here they want to use freely. You know, and the beard's got to stay, I guess, until we get that. Maybe. I don't know.
You're going to be like Gandalf this time next year. You keep it up. On that note, Chad, this week, let's just jump right into it. We've got the Weed King, none other than the one-man smoke show, Mr. Freddie Pritchard in the house. How you doing, Freddie?
Good,
welcome
Jason.
to Cannabis in Canada.
Thanks, buddy. Welcome. Or thanks for having me welcome here.
Hey, happy to have you on, man. Tell us a bit about your activism. Tell us a bit about, a lot of people don't know this. Let's just jump into your past first, because a lot of people don't realize that you did a lot of stuff in Ontario with, HITSIC and other cases. So maybe tell us a bit about that to open up.
Yeah, well, no, basically, Jason, I started growing weed first. You know what I mean? I started in the basement growing weed. Someone showed me how to set up hydroponic garden, and I got started doing that. And it was around the time when HITSIG was happening, and there was a lot more aware. People were starting to get computers, so I had Windows 98 sort of thing, and I was able to be plugged in now outside of a magazine that maybe you're getting every so many months on a story that was way behind. So, awareness came out about medical marijuana with Murden and Wakeford and Steve Boy Bacon's Terry Parker Jr. Story, stuff like that. So, here I was in Windsor. Most of the Windsor weed at the time was a Columbo Lumbo compressed weed. A lot of the Mennonites were coming out with this brick weed that you really had to steam open and stuff. And here I had the fire, fucking super skunk and stuff. I had started off with Sensi seeds, so I pretty much nailed that right off the bat. I had some really good genetics.
Shout out to Sensi seeds.
Yeah,
there you go.
Sensi seeds. So I met somebody, and his wife was in a bad shape. He heard that maybe you could get some help with cannabis. So I was like, okay, well, I can hook you up. And I figured a fair price would be $5 a gram, and so, compared to what the street was offering, that was still half price, you know what I mean? So I actually went over to his house, and what I actually saw, I wasn't prepared for. I actually seen somebody who was really sick, The bedroom was basically like set up like a hospital room. She was pretty much totally incapacitated. They were going through all kinds of horror stories where, you know, when she was eventually put into a home, they wouldn't let her smoke cannabis, but anything around cannabis that they came up against, they had problems with. But when you actually I seen my cannabis, what it did, I mean, sure, it didn't heal her. She was way too far gone, but she got, the trembles went away. Her eyes changed. She put a smile on her face, and she could understand what her husband was talking about when he was talking to her. So it just like fucking hit you, and that's how.
So you've seen the medical benefits of cannabis, basically.
Yeah, and that really touched me as a man more than anything. So it was like, how can this be the way that it is with a plant? You know what I mean? Like, so. You get angry now, you know, you got to start to fight, you stand up for what you believe in. And I started a compassion club in Windsor, Ontario. Isn't recommended that you do that there. As in, we ended up getting busted. We tried to fight a charter challenge though, I tried to invoke my constitution on charter section 8 of reasonable search and seizures. They didn't want to fight a medical thing. It wasn't such they wanted to go on this thing to make it so that cops couldn't use informants the way that they use informants today. So that would have been really great, would have been really groundbreaking for to be able to do that, right? Like in my case, for instance, somebody said they were in my basement and seen 80 full-grown mature plants, and source B was in my basement and seen 80 full, you know, but when they came and busted me, I had 27. So our challenge was that in most cases, informants lie. Informants don't tell the truth and they're unreliable. So we attempted to fight that challenge, but unfortunately we lost.
Was John Trammell part of that case by chance?
Pardon me?
Was John Trammell part of that case by chance?
No.
Okay.
I do know John Trammell.
Okay. No, it's just he's not a lawyer, but he's a very
Frank Miller
active.
was the lawyer in Windsor, Ontario. Yeah. But regardless, that lost. So my fights, you know, now I see 14 years later, like, I mean, I started out in this fight before all this happened with what I seen with it medical. I always believed pot wasn't bad for you. Took me away from alcohol. I raised kids on it. I fucking was a roofer for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, here I was doing all this while I was using cannabis every single day now for 32 years. I've used cannabis, and I'm proud to say that. I'm doing pretty good. You know, I could bust a lot of the stigma just by being alive, right?
Hey, I'm 22 years HIV positive and hepatitis C positive, and I'm 22 years into it. I'm looking pretty good, and I attribute that to cannabis because I don't have to take anything but my life-saving meds, thanks to cannabis. So sorry, Chad, jump in here anytime, man. We're just
you know,
Freddie's got quite a great story, but I'm sure some of that will grab you too.
I'd have to say I attribute, you know, my well-being also right now, a lot of it to cannabis as well. You know, if I had stayed on the pharmaceutical path that I was on for my pains that I endure every day, I don't know if I'd be around either. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've seen over now. You know, that was the first thing that got my heart. Now, over the years, I've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different cases or read stories of, you know, children's not having seizures anymore, people getting off the hardcore narcotics and substituting for cannabis. And so it's become a really mainstream. I don't like the way that it's going with these large producers, though.
Well, let's get into this. Now, this is where, you know, I mean, we've got the one-man talk show, and we're going to go into that when we close out, where they can find you, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about the LP, because, you know, one thing I caught off our conversation, you and I started banging on the telephone. Next thing I know, it's like a 45-minute conversation later, and we're still banging on these LPs. But the one thing I noticed that you got a grasp on the monopoly. You got a grasp on what's going on here. And, you know, let's get into this. Let's talk a little bit about it. Chad, you want to open us up? Where you want to start with the monopoly?
Oh man, where do we start? You know, I mean, they're squeezing everybody more and more every day. You know, I saw the monopoly actually, you know, forming when they started the mandatory minimums, and so many people that already grew cannabis that would never actually, you know, get involved with the federal government and let them know that they actually do it. They just simply grow it. started thinking, well, I don't want to, have to spend a mandatory minimum sentence in prison, and I have this ailment and all this, and well, I guess I'm going to go and just go through these hoops and get this thing. I saw it at that point that they were starting to just try to find everybody that was involved with cannabis that believed in it, and would try to sort of legitimize them. And then later, when you give a license, you can then pull it away because you'll try to say it's a privilege when it's actually a right. That the first person that won that right in court, they didn't have a license, and they brought the licensing scheme in to sort of pretend that was what their answer was. But the answer was is everybody won the right at that moment.
Yeah.
We have the right in this country to use cannabis. Everybody does.
Yeah.
So when they give you a license, they try to pull it away, and then they try to change things. And so, of course, this is what they did. They gave people licenses. They felt it out. They themselves probably worked under the licensing scheme for a long time and were, out there as agent tours, sort of figuring out the market, and then pulled it. They do these things.
That's what we said a lot when we were pounding the pavement. We were down at that Allard trial just about every single day out on the street team passing out flyers. But that's one thing that we've said from the beginning. These people have already won this fight. They won it a long time ago to be allowed to grow their own cannabis. So now some have been growing for the whole last 13, 14 years.
Well, this is because I started Allard. I honestly started this. It was never a constitutional right to grow, or we wouldn't be arguing for a constitutional right to allow us now. What we had was a regulatory option. When Parker won, he won the right to reasonable access. And what the government said was, okay, well, he can grow his own, or he can access it from a dealer. Until now.
Right. So,
which is what I'm saying.
Once you're allowed to have access to a plant that they're trying to tell you is evil and they've been holding it back, all it does is it's really just, it's implying guilt on themselves that they've been doing something wrong for a long time. I mean, it's really just guilt on the part of the government, as far as I'm concerned. They know that this plant doesn't hurt anybody and it actually helps many people. You could consider it genocide to pull it out of people's daily diet, if you will.
Yeah, what he's saying is they give them the right to grow back then their own, and have designates and that regulatory. Now to take it away is pretty fucking evil, right?
But this is
well,
what
I mean,
I'm saying.
that in itself. But I mean, you got to think. I mean, before all of this prohibitionary crap even came into place, 70 plus years ago, everybody was growing it. It was just a plant. It was just, everybody grew it for all kinds of different purposes. So, it's been a very short window here in the real scope of humanity living here on the planet that we've all been brainwashed into thinking this wonderful plant that has been so beneficial to us, and we all thought was so beneficial in so many ways for so many years. The people have been brainwashed to think now it's all of a sudden some dangerous, wicked thing that has to be only in the hands of the most dangerous and wicked people, which are the government and their cronies.
Well, yeah, because that's what the liberals, the government big thing is they want to keep it out of the hands of children, and they want to keep it out of the hands of criminals. That's what they've been touting from the beginning. And I've always been saying, what the hell, man? When did we? And then a lot of people are saying, oh, you gotta, is this weed tested?
And what is a criminal to the government? A criminal to the government is anybody that doesn't, follow exactly what the government wants them to do. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the moral right. They're not necessarily right in anything they're doing, just because they say so. I mean.
Well, the one thing we have to remember is, once again, Allard, having filed Allard, is a constitutional challenge on just that issue. The government of Canada came in and said, no, these patients can't grow because of fire, mold, and organized crime, and this is the premise for removing the regulatory option to grow, which is something that was in the framework of the medical marijuana access regulations that were repealed. So the federal government's end-all solution was to X out basically any home growing and then usher in Justin's legalization. And they've now ushered in Justin's legalization. They've ushered in their 26 LPs, which will be 51 this time next year. I keep saying this, and I've been on par. I've been saying this for 3 years now, so I haven't been wrong. I'll be arguing about it as much as I want because it's accurate. Look it up. On that fact, these LPs have come. They've set up their $25 million companies, and they're here. And they're now coming, people are saying, well, now what are they doing about the dispensaries? Oh, Jason, did you ever own a dispensary? Yeah. Did I work at dispensaries? Yeah. You know, do I understand what's going on? Hell yeah. Chad and I were the ones that reported on St. Catherine's fucking hub. You know, a fucking hub that said they were going to set up and they were going to take over every fucking province and set up clinics. And you motherfuckers dare come on and actually challenge and say, what are you doing? What are you talking about? And now all of a sudden you're saying, but oh my God, they're taking over. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I'm not trying to fucking say anything other than those people that I'm not going to get into name calling nothing, but this is shit online that I'm just tired of hearing about it because people are acting like these LPs are something new. And then a couple people suggested we should get along with the LP system.
Yeah.
We should accept the LP system. No, fuck that.
That's what they tell me.
You don't fucking accept this kind of stuff. You don't just say, yeah, I didn't fight for 20 years. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I didn't fight for 20 years to say, here, Tilray, here, I'll buy from you and you can fuck me up the ass around my opportunity to grow or provide for other medical patients. No, fuck that. I don't give a fuck what activist you are. Take your fucking stand on legalization. Because there's legalization with the fucking plant, and then there's legalization with the fucking LPs. Pick your fucking side. Excuse my language, but I'm fucking on a rant tonight. A little bit sick, too.
The thing is it's ridiculous, too. These LPs can't do proper business. Otherwise, they would be doing good business. And, you know, they've got this monopolized form of, you know, whatever they're trying to do. They're trying to ram it down everybody's throat and pull everybody else's right away to even grow it. And they still can't do proper business. People still don't want to work with them. They'd still rather go anywhere else but them. So, you know,
Tilray had a $15 a gram Bubba Kush. I never seen it, but it was probably irradiated. Possibly could have been fucking imported. Bottom line is it's $15 a gram. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, yeah. I come in 14 years ago at $5 a gram. I'm still around there now. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are they doing now? You know, people are saying to me, Jason, oh, don't say that the LPs aren't greedy. Well, what the fuck? Because I'll tell you right now, if I can grow 10,000 plants, I have no problem turning a healthy profit for $2-3 a gram.
That's right.
So, and I don't understand where now there's 15. Then it comes down to the real health of the patients. When you're pushing house blends for $4 a gram, that's nothing but stalks and stems and everything else, and they're pushing $4 blends. What kind of a man like would go and buy for their dead dying grandmother or their loved one or my wife? I would go there and buy my wife a $4 fucking house blend that's being mislabeled on Tilray's site as 25.8% THC. I challenge anybody who's got that house blend to test it, see if it even comes close to that, because Prairie Plant Systems did the same thing with their gold foil package. They were supposed to grow a 10% THC. Two independent tests come back at 3.4 and 3.6. So it's like it's just another fucking gimmick.
That came out in R versus Barron, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's just another fucking gimmick. You know, when you tell me that because I'm on disability and I'm really sick and dying and I really do got AIDS or I'm really fucking got cancer and my buddy Guppy Fish who just got told he's got 90 days left to go, you tell him that he's going to smoke that house blend and I'll punch you right in the face.
That's right.
You know,
that's a good. Guppy's a good point. And then shout out to Guppy, love out to your brother, and Bert. Shout out to you as well.
I don't give a shit what their stocks look like.
No, but no, for real.
Because it's about the patients. Now, if you're going to turn around and grow 10,000 plants, and you're going to pump out $5 grams for patients, and you're going to do only top of the line quality because that's what the stoner wants to smoke. You bring me a bag of shit, I ain't going to smoke it. I'm going to someone else because I want good weed and then the patient needs it. Patient needs to make medibles, press it out for rosin, or they want to make a fucking BHO extract or an iso oil. What are you giving them fucking $6 crap for that hardly got any trichomes on it? No resin. What the fuck? So to me, that's not medicine. None of it's medicine. None of the low-grade shit that's in dispensaries and none of the low-grade shits to any of the fucking... That's not medicine because you can afford it. You should be getting top of the line. Top of the line. Every one of them. $5. I know what it's worth. It's plant. I know how it grows. Fucking profitable, but it doesn't have to be fucking greedy. And they've jumped because the people that are doing this do not People are doing this are bankers, stock investors, business people. They're not people that know trichomes. They're not people that grow plants. They're not people that know the black market. They've never sold a bag of weed in their fucking life. So how the hell are they going to write the laws about it? The same way the fucking government wrote the laws about the fucking prairie plant systems and the MMAR and all that. They fucked it all up.
Yeah. The MMPR is already unconstitutional. I keep saying this already. The MMPR is unconstitutional. People keep saying to me, but the LPs are good, but the MMPR is good. I'm saying, but wait, it's unconstitutional. How the fuck can it be good? And as soon as Allard comes down, it's going to be unconstitutional a second time. Now, what does this mean for Canada? My friends, if Allard goes through, it means that we're going to be allowed to grow in this country. Justin has not said whether he's going to allow personal production in the home for a reason. Because Justice Phelan has yet to speak on whether he's going to allow medical patients to grow. It comes down to the opening up of a Section 15 argument, because we're all equal before and under the Charter. I've often said this is a historic case, my friends, and hopefully Justice Phelan speaks on that soon, because it ties a lot into that. That injunction, just so everybody understands, that injunction is a restraining order on the federal government of Canada. It cost us $70,000 that paid the fucking bills, okay, with the coalition. So $70,000 injunction. For those of you out there still enjoying your gardens and still enjoying your businesses, you should start kicking up some money from Mr. Conroy and make sure that those bills are paid, because that is an extremely expensive case. You know, that was just the injunction with $70,000. Sorry, gentlemen, I'm on a bit of a bitchy, ranty mood tonight.
Yeah, no, it's okay, because the truth isn't best to talk about, you know, and I'm sick and tired of it, because after 14 years of being there in the beginning, I've seen it all go to shit. I've seen it turn into profit for dispensaries. Sure, there's some good clubs out there. Sure, there's some people doing some compassion. And that's how it started. Then all of a sudden now there's 80 more clubs in Vancouver in like 3 years. And I'll tell you right now, it's not about compassion. Right. Now they're called a dispensary. Now it's a dispensary.
There, though, Freddie, and you know, the more people, the more outlets that are out there, the cheaper the price eventually gets for those patients, hopefully, too, you know.
Well,
we need more growers, and we need more outlets for those growers as well. You know, the other thing is if the growers in British Columbia, the small growers, if they're not getting enough to actually pay their bills when it comes down to the market, then eventually those guys go away. Or if they don't get enough to actually invest in their stuff and upgrade their systems, then they just get stagnant.
Well, I agree, but that's
these
because
LPs will continue to just run over everybody.
Well, that's because the black market exists. Now, if the black market didn't exist and small mom and pop grow operations were allowed to operate, well, then you know what? You could bring your prices down. You wouldn't be so exposed. You could grow big businesses that would all be legal, you know, and you could work with inside of a frame of a small mom and pop grow operation license, which can supply to the dispensaries, because there's room for everybody. I know for a fact that if the LP model, the LP model can continue with their model, because they won't exist for long doing it that way. I know that, but still, let them exist. Let dispensaries exist. Let people get small mom and pop grow operations. So, because not everybody's going to want to go out and grow. A lot of people ain't going to be able to grow good weed either. So it's going, you know, well, that's the proof in the dispensary. A lot of the dispensaries weed now. So you know, I mean.
The reality of it too is, I mean, there is a massive market for cannabis. If people are afraid of the legal aspect of it and everybody just being able to grow cannabis, I mean, there is a massive market for it all over the world.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, people don't have to worry about that. You know, if you're good at what you do, you're going to be able to, you know, stay in the industry.
Well, yeah, exactly, because like the microbrewery, it would just be a micro growery, and then you know, maybe somebody would be specializing in Lindsay OG.
I still say call to action. All patient providers, storefront owners, say what you want. To those of you out there saying that medical marijuana patients are the ones solely supplying you, I call bullshit. Medical marijuana patients are not legally allowed to supply medical dispensaries. Never been allowed to. It's never been permitted. We can't even fucking transport our medication without being within our permit numbers, let alone have a caregiver even carry our medicine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you need to understand, that medical patients are not the ones behind dispensaries. That's a bullshit lie. Sure, there's some bad apples. Sure, some growers I'm fucking sure sell a little bit off to the fucking dispensaries, but don't fucking say we're the sole ones. That's bullshit. You're throwing patients under the bus. You purport to represent them, and you throw them under the fucking bus.
There's a misconception of that out there.
Is that so wrong that under this this prohibitionary scheme, medical patients actually came together to help other medical patients, even if they had to bend the rules or break the rules to get them their medicine. You know, I mean, you can't blame. I mean,
no, but there's a misconception out there. A lot of people have said it to me. Even there was a girl that spoke at the city council for the regulations where we're at the public forum. She even said right to the city councilors that they only buy their weed from legal NPR growers. Yeah. Well, I leaned over to somebody and said, holy gee, she should shut up. She's going to get that guy's license pulled. Well, no, you know what I mean? Because it's not legal.
But this is the thing, the reality is that medical marijuana growers have overages. They need to pay their freaking bills. They have to cover their costs. And yeah, there are some that will have overages. And they will provide for their this is my problem with being a patient provider. If I'm a grower and I provide for my neighbor down the street, just because I don't sell it out the fucking storefront, why is it a difference?
I don't have a problem myself though with a grower who is a designate helping.
That's what I mean, a patient provider
reselling. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I don't have a problem with anybody growing it. I don't.
This is the thing. There shouldn't. There's the whole issue. The whole issue of regulation and licensing. We can throw that out the window. Honestly, in my own opinion, legalization should get rid of licensing. That won't happen though. The MMPR have this locked up so that they're going to keep it licensed. They're going to keep it regulated, taxed, and controlled, like Mr. Trudeau has fucking said. This is what making me so pissed off. The more I learn about politics, the more I learned about we let Goliath in on April 1st, 2014. That's the historic date that we fucked up. Every activist in this country that want to call yourself a cannabis activist, you fucked up when you let in the MMPR. We had the opportunity. We sent Phil Lucas. We sent Riel Kapler. We sent down Hillary Black to Ottawa to represent us, to say why the MMPR was such a failure. Well, I'm glad you all got fucking jobs and you work for Bedrocan and fucking Tilray now, VP, fucking Phil. I'm sorry, Phil. You're my mentor, but I can't fucking help it.
Well, that's all right, Jason, because
I can't fucking help it.
They can try to take it over on the model that they're using now, and I'll tell you, I got a voice for the black market because I am black market. I don't have a license or a license.
Listen, I want everybody to stop calling it black market right here, right now, on the show. Because it's not a black market.
If you want to call it the underground.
They called everything that's a free market because the government mafia monopoly doesn't get their cut. They call every single thing that they're not getting their cut on that is in the free market.
Like when they say
spun this thing on us and the thing is something bad. They call everything. And why use the term black?
That's right, because they'll say they don't. You know, when they say they want to keep cannabis out of the hands of criminals. Well, they're basically talking about me, because that's what they're saying I am. Because I sell cannabis.
Anybody other than the government, anybody that is not them and that just does exactly what they say is a criminal. You're not a criminal.
Well, I know that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's why I do. If anything, I'm a.
This is criminal. This is what I want to show you. I want to show some of the folks out there what criminal is. Okay, right here, I want to show you this. If we can get that on the screen. Do you see that? Does everybody see that? Can we see that there, guys?
Yeah, it's a symbol.
Do you see what it says above it? International symbol for radiated food. International food irradiated symbol. Okay?
Oh, well, that apparently a requirement from Health Canada on the license when you get your LP license. You're supposed to be irradiating your weed.
So I want to show you something.
You have to meet certain standards.
This is what I call criminal. And these folks here, okay, I'm going to go to another picture. These folks, Canamed, have thought they were going to do something clever, and they've incorporated the international symbol for food irradiation into their symbol for their actual product. Now I just want to show you. Remember that symbol I just showed you? And what do you see there?
It's Canamed.
Yeah, you see Canamed, but what's that symbol right there? That's the symbol for international irradiated food.
There's even another connection to radiated weed.
Well, the one thing I can tell our viewers that is
right?
100%.
There you go. There's that symbol again. I'll just show everybody again, just so you're sure. That's the symbol.
One thing that I can address for sure with our viewers is that as far as gamma process cannabis goes in the country of Canada, It is now, it's required by the FDA as for any foods that are in our food market. And unfortunately, they're throwing cannabis in there. And they're continuing to do that if they don't meet a certain standard. So Tilray and others are going to claim they have organics, and they do. Those that very few crops that get past these stringent friggin' rules. The rest of it is all gamma processed. And again, I beg anybody to Google it, pull us up a study that shows what gamma processing does to the trichome. What does it do to the cannabinoid profile? Nobody even knows. We just did this because the FDA said do it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, eh? And then they do shed, then sometimes now in the cannabis community, the people that are on the other side of us, with this drug war, there's two fucking ends of it, they'll say that it's unsafe, it's unreliable when you buy from the underground, So it's like, well, boy, I'm not really reliable on these LPs now. There's the question now. If I'm questioning the fact that is my shit radiated or not.
No, but how this is the
I want to know.
No, but either let's go right back to the point. Has there ever been a lethal dose? Has there ever been an overdose? A real overdose,
That's right.
like a lethal overdose. Is there addiction? And yeah, I'm not even going to get into it. The thing is, there's no lethal death rate to freaking or death dose to cannabis, and there's no freaking addiction, no more than caffeine. So, we're talking about soda pops here, for kids. So let's protect the kids from soda pops.
Yeah,
Holy
no
fuck.
one's died from moldy cannabis
my
either,
God.
and no one's died from overchemmed cannabis.
Again,
no one's died from no one's really died.
Plants
made a
on
great
the
argument.
planet, and we're just all over the world just not allowed to have it, right? It's ridiculous. It is so beneficial in so many ways. And we all have to just look at this. Like, I look at it and I just shake my head and I go, how do people not see through the propaganda?
It's because of the paper pulp mills that don't want the hemp industry and the nylon that didn't want the hemp industry. And it's the big pharma and the big chemicals and petrochemicals that don't want fucking hemp and they don't want fucking medicine. And they're known since 74 that cannabis cured cancer. They buried that up. Now, recently, 6 months or a year ago, the National Cancer Institute on their website says that cannabis actually can inhibit cancer and the growth of cancer. So it's like, well, now it's slowly starting to wake up, these little baby steps, eh? But the truth of the matter is, we've known for a long time, cannabis is harmless. You're supposed to get psychosis, you're supposed to get schizophrenia. Now, I've smoked hardcore weed. I'm a wake and baker, and I smoke hardcore from the morning to the night. I'm a classic stoner.
Independence and self-sufficiency.
And I should have schizophrenia. I should have psychosis. How could I not? You know what I mean? Like, just a little humor there, man.
I was going to make a point earlier about Kurt Tusa. He made a point that if you have moldy bread, what do? You throw it out, same as the butter. You would do this with your bud. Now, I would also argue, and
why do we need this nanny state, to
makes
protect
a
us from these moldy?
Why are the bottom of my bag potatoes mushy?
Yeah,
you ever see some of that shit?
Like who?
You see the old crappy lettuce that they'll sell you?
Complaining about everything. Like, just
it'll be freaking moldy, and the potatoes will have brown spots.
Go to the person you got it from. Say, hey, it's moldy. Get a new one.
Oh no, man! No! They'll fucking take it. They'll put 30% off on it and put it in this special rack where, if you're a little more impoverished, you'll buy the moldy banana with the brown spots. They do sell you that stuff.
And back to my point as well.
They sell you moldy food like crazy. Yeah. And then not only that, it's sprayed with pesticides, it's sprayed with herbicides, and those are fucking approved.
Back to my point with Kurt Tusa. This is a gentleman who went through law school, got his degree, got kicked out of the freaking, I can't remember which NDP party for smoking weed on Pot TV. That's Kurt Tusa. Now, he is the best cutting throat lawyer there is, and he smokes weed every freaking day. Fucking fabulous. Proud of Kurt. That is a fabulous example of there is no addiction, there is no brain damage, there is no problem to using cannabis. We can still function.
Look at how old is John Conroy these days? That guy's in great shape.
I think he's 68. Another classic example of a lawyer that can win a constitutional challenge while smoking weed.
Right?
Yeah, those guys have done a good job because of in my opinion, like I'm on the outside looking in. I've always helped the sick. You know what I mean? But I'm not sick, and I don't have an exemption. I work outside of those boundaries, and I'm always going to work outside of those boundaries. But from the outside looking in, we spent 11 days walking down there supporting the Allard trial, the one-man smoke show. We put up 11 videos on YouTube. Whole cannabis community was watching it from coast to coast, all the people. And we're still waiting on the decision. But the bottom line is, nobody else did anything. Nobody else did anything, and if it wasn't for the injunction, a lot of people wouldn't be growing right now. It's a shame. It's a shame.
I wouldn't say, hold on, Freddie. I wouldn't say nobody did anything because there's something called the Cannabis Rights Coalition that raised $200.
No, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you.
No, sorry. I was going to say we did.
Nobody else did anything.
No, nobody. You're right. Nobody helped us. You're right.
If it wasn't for
nobody
the
helped us.
injunction, people wouldn't be growing right now.
The growers never helped us either, though. That was my biggest issue. Sorry, Chad.
Buddy, we know we walked the street. None of them came down and walked the street with us. It was
none of the growers. No, this thing. None of the growers ever joined the fucking fight, and I'm calling you out still. You still haven't joined the fight. If you're living with a pink slip and you're making fucking money, kick up money to Conroy, or kick up money to the fucking coalition that saved your garden. That's serious ass shit.
Yeah,
That's real life shit.
I agree. There's much more that can be done. The community needs to needs to get more involved.
Unity,
definitely.
It's fucking unity, man.
They really need to realize that everything that they stood up for so many years and built. You don't build a name like BC Bud overnight. That's an internationally known name that people work super hard for years and years to try to build business names like that, could never ever accomplish what the independent individual small farmer did in British Columbia. So yeah, they really do need to stand up for themselves, and at this time where they're about to get run over, and really have their voice heard for sure.
Yeah, I should correct myself too, just to be sure. I don't know that Kurt, for example, smokes every day, or John. It's just examples of people who do. They're lawyers that smoke marijuana, and they're lawyers. One's a Queen's Counsel, and one's a cutting throat lawyer that just won a Supreme Court challenge. So this speaks to the value of whether marijuana makes you freaking dumb or not. So it's just a dumb topic to even be discussing. It's a pothead clean your bong topic. I don't know what the fuck we're doing on CNC.
It's amazing, though, that there's still people out there that call us dumb. Say we're stupid.
We are the dumbest.
Say we're lazy.
Look at
We're
our
nothing. Fucking.
Well, that's
Reefer Madness 2000. Hey, you seen the movie Reefer Madness and old school, back in the 30s and the 40s, Reefer Madness. Well, holy fuck, Reefer Madness 2015 is just as insane.
It is.
Just as stupid. Like, look at the Vancouver police. They come out with a fucking report here last week of we can't have any more useless and needless deaths to this new drug shatter or whatever. You reported. You reported on that. They did retract on it. I will, but Reefer Madness is still alive, man.
Oh, it is
alive and kicking.
Brain cells and mushes your brain. So I think that's what's really hurting people's brains out there. Too much listening to the state.
Well, I'll go back to these lawyers for a reason, guys. Listen to what I'm saying here. These are lawyers. These guys got educations. I mean, if these are people that can get educations and do all this stuff, we don't need to sit here and prove that we're not done stupid potheads. These are our lawyers that are winning our cases. The students that are listening to our shows, the people that come to our seminars, only they're going to the LP seminars because they're dressed in suits. We just have to learn to play their game. The ball game has changed ever since, once again, April 1st, 2014, we let Goliath in. April Fools.
Yeah,
Canada.
And I'm a firm believer that because they've only 11 passed through the regulations here out of 176 clubs to apply. 30 are in limbo.
We predicted that.
Yeah, and I said 18 to 20, but 30 are in limbo over the demerit system. So at the most, 25 will get through the first stage, if even half of those do. But it's my firm belief that once they're narrowed down, now it's going to become, you can't be selling underground weed.
You gotta sell
you can't sell, basically, I believe they're all going to be told, look, you're going to have to sell LP weed for a fraction of the profits you're making now. And they're just going to be dispensaries for the large producers.
What it is going to be. They're not going to be making hardly anything at all. Like you say.
Yeah, I think that
they're going to have them so deep in debt because they're going to have them jumping through so many hoops again. I've told everybody. They're going to make everybody jump through hoop after hoop after hoop to the point that they can't back out because they're so deeply invested in all these elaborate security systems, these, you know,
And the
bank
big
vaults
ones,
that they have to have, all this stuff. And then once you're in that deep, you know, you're going to just do whatever they say when they're, you know, you're going to start just bending over.
Well, yeah,
you know,
and then, I mean, you got no medibles
That's
either
why
going
people,
off in your
everybody
store.
has to stand up and say no. People have to learn the word no.
Yeah.
You know?
There'll be no medibles, no butters, no shatters, waxes, oils, tincture, no Phoenix tears, no
Again.
Rick Simpson oil. None of that's going to be legal. You're just going to get these irradiated flowers, and you're going to pay $15 a gram. But they're paying that. They're charging that now at Tilray and shit for top of the line, $14, $12. So it's like, well, now if you're going to throw in a dispensary who's selling LP weed, how much more is that going
Let's
out?
take the dispensary word out. Let's take the dispensary word out and say patient and patient providers, because patient providers, whether you're in a delivery system in Saskatchewan where you can't set up a fucking storefront, or you live in friggin' New Brunswick where you do a delivery system, weed is in every province, you know. So I guess what I'm saying is that patient and patient providers rise up, continue to provide for your patients. This is the one way we can fight back. They got money, they got the legislative arm, they got politicians, but they don't got the people. They're
What
buying
he's trying to
us.
say is be the dispensary, but without the storefront. Just do what you got to do, you know, and
Do whatever you got to do. Supply
keep
your
growing.
patients.
Get it to the people that need it, you know.
Keep growing, man. That's
Exactly.
the thing.
Overgrow. Mark
Keep
wants to
growing.
overgrow the government. I still say overgrow the government because they ain't giving us our plans yet to do otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people that are growing and want their gardens are getting their benefit and their medicine from their garden. They need
I believe
it. They need it,
I
number
believe Joe
one.
Blow.
Keep fucking doing it.
I believe average Joe. I don't care. The guy working down the street that wants to fucking be able to grow a plant and not fear persecution should be allowed to do it and go home and smoke his weed and make his fucking extracts with his wife in peace.
Yeah, I believe if he wants to sell some of that product as well to make up for some of his electric costs so that he can actually reinvest in his thing and give it to somebody for a reasonable price or whatever he wants to do with it, I think he shouldn't be persecuted for that either. You know?
Well, again,
No, there has
that's
to
a
be-
free
there
and
has
fair
to be
market. A free and fair market has to evolve.
Well, there's a difference between a little bit of profit and a fucking $15 gear
People have to
profit.
eat,
Straight
you know, some
on up,
people
no
that
deal
have
on
put
an
their heart
ounce.
and soul into
That's
that
like
market.
that's like $6,500 a pound. Holy fuck!
No
So it's
shit.
not like a little. You gotta have profit. I mean, you got the trimming,
absolutely.
you got the
But some of the
nutrients, you
people
got
that
the
have been,
time,
doing
you
it
got
for
the
so many
care.
years, they got their heart and soul in it.
Oh,
you know?
sure you
And,
do. It's not like you're going to do it for free. I don't agree to that at all. And I don't think anybody does. But there's a difference between selling it for $1,500 a pound or selling it for $6,500.
Hold on. Let me just jump in here, guys. Between two of you, now let me jump in here. Now let's be realistic. If it wasn't illegal and we were all allowed to just grow, there wouldn't be a market. That
right.
$1 billion crop would be gone. Colorado's $1 billion crop isn't there.
No. You're totally wrong, bro. You're totally wrong.
Well, no,
That's
he's right
completely
because
wrong.
if the
market would be absolutely unbelievably huge.
Well, if marijuana went legal and say they said to me tomorrow, Freddie, the new rules say, Justin Trudeau, faithful leader, he's fucking he's turned it into you can grow, if you get a small time license, they're only going to make you do a one-time year charge. It's not going to be no $30,000 fee like they're throwing on these dispensaries. But if you just get a nominal license to grow and you can't go over say 200 plants, or I'm just throwing a hypothetical number out there.
I really don't care.
Well, okay, now hold on.
It's just a plant. I don't want to get anybody thrown in jail because they had 1,001 and they were supposed to have 1,000. I don't want.
Well,
anybody,
no, I know.
I just think it should all just be
That's
taken
going
off.
back
Let the
old
market
school.
dictate itself. Like it really will. Like the thing is there is a huge cannabis market out there. Period. And when it opens up, it's going to be unprecedented. It's just going to be crazy.
Well, that's what I was trying to say, because then that would be my job. Because if I could do that, if I would be my job, and I would love to do that, because I'm a grower, and I'm a grower at heart. So how many people are corn farmers right now?
What part was I wrong on there, Chad? I'm just trying to figure that out.
Only so many people are going to go out and actually be growers.
Wait, one sec here.
No, man, they don't have. A lot of people don't have what it takes. The people that are, yourself and people that have been in this really putting their heart into it. There's people that are just simply going to be good at it because they're almost born to do this. I don't really know, but I've been seeing it all over the place. You know,
So
people are
you're a
just
farmer, man.
the ones that have the heart do it well. The ones that don't
Yeah.
have a heart in it.
Well, Freddie and I were talking.
well.
Freddie and I were talking about this before the show. That there's
Farming.
maybe even if they legalize, 10% of people would even continue to grow. There might be more that try it, but that actually continue to grow and learn to do it because it takes a lot and it takes a lot of patience.
Well,
and
yeah,
it's
the ones
it's a
that
craft.
are the ones that aren't very good
It's
about
not
it will
as
get
easy
left.
as everybody thinks it is. You know, when people get involved in it and they want to, you know, everybody thinks it's some easy thing to make a lot of money. When they get involved, they'll quickly realize that, oh, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. You know, so yeah.
Well, no, it's the same thing. Like it's a farming occupation. It's a fucking
Yeah.
crop, right? So not everybody's
I mean,
going to want to be a
you're stuck
farmer
to it,
tomorrow.
you know?
There'll be always a need for way more people using cannabis than there'll ever be a need for those growing it. You know, so if you could get the rights to be a farmer on a small scale, but there's room for everybody in this new model.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
totally agree.
But that's a pipe
and really,
dream.
for all those, even those small
That's a
people
pipe
out there that
dream
just want to
because
grow
it's a
under
fucking
one
monopoly
light
and-
and have their own little thing. You know, there's tons of everybody should really be able to do it. And even if those people have one light and they've got an extra little bit and they're like, oh, you know, well, I want to be able to sell that to my neighbor. I don't think they should be able to get in trouble for that either.
No, me either.
I just.
I think somebody with like I was saying, maybe the small mom and pa grow ops could get the small license where it's just a nominal fee for the year, and then that way you guys can sell to the dispensaries, and then of course everybody should have the right to grow 10 of their own plants.
But again,
and
that's
pass
Oregon.
it around amongst their friends
Or-
and do whatever they
Oregon-
want,
Oregon-
which is about the,
as many
which
as
is
they
about
want.
the
Just let
Colorado.
it go, and you know, eventually, sure, there might be this big influx, and everybody gets all crazy about it for a bit, but it'll die off, and the people that actually like
You should-
it will hang in there. You know, it's
Yeah, well, you
it's
should
how it
look up
goes,
how
right?
fucked up it is in Colorado. If you actually look up the pot growing regulations and rules for Colorado, because they say you live there and you actually wanted to do that and you looked them up, you'd be surprised on how big and long they are. One of them is you can grow 6 of your own plants. Yes, this is true, but no one's telling you. Only 3 can be in flowering at any one time. And then the second regulation is you can never possess more than an ounce of cannabis. So if you're growing 3 plants and you get more than an ounce, which is pretty easy to do, you're already in violation. And then and then it'll tell you what you get. The first ones start out pretty nice, you know, you're just getting $100 fine. Then it gets into the 6 months in prison. Then it gets into or both, and it just goes on down. You're allowed to pass an ounce to your friend, but you're not allowed to pass 2. So yeah, look up those.
You know, and that's the thing. A lot of people aren't really looking into where these regulations are all evolving to, right?
Yeah, and I can't basically sit here and go after every one of them. But off the top of my head, there was 30 things listed, 26 things listed. So feel free to use the Googles. You use your Google.
I'm even guilty.
Yeah, use your Googles and go on. What are the Colorado Google pot regulations and rules? Fuck, it's not pretty. You know. No.
Well,
yeah.
I think we can jump into the Nanaimo topic. What's happening now with we've been covering this as they attacked in the Central Plains. They started with Mr. Glenn Price. They then raided Mr. Aaron Bott. They came back and raided Glenn Price as well, and they're now both facing charges. Just for the record, the city warned Glenn, and then they went back and raided him. Then they raided, I can't remember the gentleman's name, in Saskatoon. So 3 clubs raided, and now 10 cease and desist orders issued to the city of Nanaimo. And the owners of some of those dispensaries and many of their patients and their supporters have decided to rise up and to do a few different things. And one of those things will be Dabfest, which is coming up, next weekend.
December 5th.
December 5th.
Saturday, December 5th.
So we're going to have Annissa on. And Annissa, let me see here. My eyes suck.
Annissa Warner.
Sorry,
Mary J's
Annissa.
Medibles
See, I
Apples.
know you just as Annissa, dear. That's it. So we'll have Annissa when we get back from commercial break. And we'll be talking about the Nanaimo Dabfest that's coming up, and as well as some of the issues going on in Nanaimo in general. And do some more dabs. We'll see you when we get back.
Free the weed. I've been talking for the last 2 live shows.
Hey there. there, Candid Cannabis viewers. My name's Dylan, and I'm here to help you learn more about cannabis.
Cannabis analysis initiated. Commence scanning. Cannabis analysis complete. Your cannabis strain is ready for review.
We're looking at the award-winning Lindsay strain from Liberty Farms, grown by CNC's own Chad Jackett. He's part of an old BC crew from Lindsay, Ontario, hence the name of this strain. He's been farming for more than 10 years, and this plant was grown indoors using hydroponics. It's got the beauty red hairs along with some orange and tons of trichomes. Visually very appealing. This bud has definitely been cured properly, just the right amount of stickiness. Density is the strength of the Lindsay. I wish you could feel this at home. This isn't air. This is full, solid bud. As for the nose, it has a strong aroma, just as you would expect. It definitely has a familiar scent of cannabis, but it's almost citrus in a way, mixed with a pepper or spice. There's also a pine tree smell to this, which is a signature of cannabis grown outdoors. But again, this strain is indoor hydro, so its climate was controlled, leading to a consistent aroma. Now it's time to put this strain to the test, using this device right here called MyDX. This is a portable testing platform that is programmed to analyze and measure what's in the cannabis you're using. You put a sample in this little tray here, pop it in, and wait for the results. Now you know more about the Lindsay strain, a winner at this year's Sass Prairie Cup. I'll be back soon to help you learn more about your cannabis. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
And we're back now here as I sit and grind with my coalition grinder with our friends Annissa and her son Joel. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Now you're here to tell us a bit about Dabfest. Now, the one little bit of background that I'll speak for that I know about is that Dabfest was a result. It was some planning already going into this, but it was more of a result of these 10 letters being served to these dispensaries that really riled this event to go up. And this event almost got canceled because the RCMP decided to say to the venue owner, hey, if you hold this event, then we're going to stop you. So tell us a bit about your position now moving forward.
Okay, well, it didn't really have anything to do with Nanaimo. I just wanted to have an event on the island here. I attended a few events in Victoria, Nanaimo, and to travel to Victoria or Vancouver to go to any cannabis event. It also for the Cannabis Rights Coalition. In college. And I live
a touch closer to your mic. Touch closer to your mic there. We can hear you.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, so
fire up, Freddie.
I had to do a lot of driving to go to any cannabis events, and I'm not a big drinker, so I wanted to just do a dab party. Didn't think I'd ever sell 50 tickets, and in a matter of days, I was pretty much sold out of a 250-person event. Venue and had to stop accepting vendors. It was just the response was amazing.
Yeah. Annissa, just let me apologize. Seriously, I got the two events mixed up. This weekend's event versus that I'm going to versus next weekend's event, which is your event that I'll also be at. So I apologize for that confusion. That's
okay.
My bad.
We're going to Nanaimo too, which is going to be a great event. It's a great venue. We're happy to support that one too. So. So a little bit different, but that's why we decided to have Dabfest.
Well, that's cool, Annissa. That's really
Okay.
cool. But you got I noticed a list of sponsors is huge. I noticed, probably 20, 25 different sponsors, some big names in the bunch, eh? Seen Ramo Nutrients going to be there, Baird Brothers, whole bunch of people.
Well, our main sponsors are Trees Dispensary out of Victoria. They have 2 locations there, and one in Nanaimo. And then also Jupiter, Victoria. She's like a bong shop, head shop. And they're in Victoria as well. And then the Beard Brothers are actually our special guests because they've had both myself with my edible company and my son with his company at their little dab sessions they've been having. They're really good to us, so they're our special guests at this event.
Right on,
And
shout
then
out.
the vendors list, we have about 28 people coming from activists, YouTube stars like yourself, Freddie. We got 10 glass blowers and more wanted to come. We had to stop accepting blowers because we didn't have enough room for all the heady glass.
Yeah, so much glass.
Very cool.
That's going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the proceeds of that money's going to some charity, or something?
Well, we want to donate some to the Cannabis Rights Coalition because like I said, we attended one of their events in Palm Beach and it was just great. And then we want to help start a chapter of Women Grow in Vancouver Islands. We'd like to help them set up. And then to Ted Smith and Gail Quinn for all that they do for the whole cannabis community in Canada.
Awesome.
And then we're also just going to do a raffle for the Saskatchewan Compassion Club that just got raided and had all their product taken. So we just want to help them out a bit too.
Well, right on. That's
excellent.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we're happy to say the Cannabis Rights Coalition was able to help out Macros with $1,000 from Mr. Kurtusa to help them continue with their fight. And as they continue, we're going to have to prepare. We need to keep doing this. And the one thing that bothers me is that the word is that police have been in other provinces, and including here in British Columbia, starting to threaten and say to our venues, they've seen what the Cannabis Rights Coalition has done. We raised $280,000. That's $250,000, my friends, to restrain, put an injunction on the government, put them on trial. That's what we did. So they're saying we don't want this to keep happening because this is no longer activism in the streets. This is activism in the courts. And if we continue this is why I don't like the RCMP being used to threaten our venue owners, saying if you allow these guys in here to raise funds, then we're going to shut you down. What the hell is that? Is this a free country? We can't raise funds to defend ourselves anymore? This is really getting backwards now.
Well, exactly, and then they use our tax dollars to fund these jackbooted thugs to come and boot down our door when they tell us that they're to protect and serve, which I think we're all coming to the realization that that's never been true, or maybe it was at one point, but if it had been, it's completely corrupted. And it really reminds me of a totalitarian time, that we went through back in the 40s.
Yeah, and then really, when you're on the outside looking in, I've been doing that since it all started. It's after 14 years of this medical marijuana, it's gone to shit. It's gone really fucking wrong. And it's not ever, go back to the Hitzig case, and it was about reasonable access. And they're not addressing that still. It's not reasonable access when it's a lower quality cannabis for too high of a price. That's not reasonable access to something that grows almost.
You can't just go out your backyard and go clip a piece of your bud off and go do whatever the hell you want. That is not reasonable. You cannot do that.
That's right.
It's not reasonable. It's not reasonable that they hold a dictatorship, a monopoly above us and say, well, because we can provide you something, you must come to us for it. No, I'm an independent, free human being that wants to provide for myself, and I want to choose the individuals that I want to buy from if I'm going to buy something.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that those individuals have my best interest at heart and have my community at heart. I don't want to be forced into this monopoly where you must buy something from somebody. This is ridiculous.
No, because if my model was to compete with that, which is better cannabis, I can grow better cannabis because I love my weed. And then, and on top of that, I'm going to do it at a hell of a lot more affordable price. So if their model existed and my model existed, they'd have to fucking change.
And they'd
have to change to compete.
They had to use our tax dollars to set these businesses up. What company out there actually takes people's tax dollars first because they're that terrible of business people to actually set the thing up and then fail? And then when they fail, they say, well, I want to use more tax dollars to use thugs to shut down my competition. What the hell is wrong with these people?
Yeah, and some of those security officers at those large producers are actually ex-police officers. Yep. Kashid himself, and Kashid's got a business going where he goes around and just recommends security for them and stuff, eh? So it's like,
and if you don't think that there's pressure coming down from these guys that all have these cushy jobs now in these cannabis factories, and they're calling on their buddies that are in the force still to do things. I mean, we're all crazy to think that they're not, doing this. It's already just laid off a bunch of people. These people want to protect their jobs.
Yeah. Chad, one sec here on the jobs issue. Now, Annissa, you mentioned starting a new chapter of Women's Grow. This is very important to have a women's voice in any culture, in any community. It's just good to have that extended voice. It is a strong voice to have, as any man who's had a wife will tell you. But that being said, Annissa, tell us a bit about starting a new chapter.
I'm not going to be starting it myself. There's a girl here named Jill that's from Duncan. She's an activist, she's a newspaper reporter, and she's put in an application to the Vancouver Women's Grow. So I'm just getting involved in it now, but I would like to see it on the island because I am a woman in cannabis industry. So that's why I just put her in part of the proceeds, because I'd like to see it over here. But we'll definitely have more details at the show, at the event. She'll be there.
Now you
awesome. I love Women's Grow. Those guys are great. I actually went to an event a little while ago with my wife, and I love it. Bringing this, the women that are involved in cannabis do need to get their faces out there, and that softer side of that softer face of cannabis needs to be known. Because when it's always coming from the guys, and a lot of the time people think it's a boys' club. It's not a boys' club. A lot of the guys keep the girls kind of quiet or hidden from because they're worried about them and stuff. It's this protection thing of but the girls need to get out there. Why are we? It's
some great growers.
That
girl right there, Mary J's Medibles Edibles, she can make a damn good kick-ass cookie.
And that Gail Quinn that you mentioned, God bless Gail, but I remember Gail back in the day, and God knows that girl can grow weed too. God love her. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a lot of the guys out there that are in the industry that have girls involved with it want to just kind of keep it a little quieter because they don't want to risk them getting in some sort of trouble or something as well. So they just it's a protectionary thing under this sort of prohibitionary scheme, I think, right? But
it all comes back to this prohibition, eh? It's always the same thing, and it's been that way even before medical marijuana.
Sorry,
we want to free the weed, right?
Annissa, you were going to say something there. Sorry, I'm trying to.
Well, not just women in the cannabis industry, but the industry itself. I left Ontario because of a lot of closed-minded people and didn't like what I was doing. And so I moved out here because of the culture. And wow, do things ever change in a year. We're a family-run business with my edibles, my son, and my daughter. So I'd like to see it recognized as an industry. Now, going back to Nanaimo, of the 10 clubs, we deal with some, and some of them have started to shut down, so that's affecting the family business. And it's also, there's a lot of employees there, 150, that could all lose their jobs. So we are quite concerned about what is happening on the island because we were so far ahead just 6 months ago. The shops in Nanaimo have been rocking for over a year.
Yeah,
happening, and then just boom.
As soon as they launched.
And imagine what that's going to do to the economy of Nanaimo and of the island, and of all these other businesses that don't realize this effect that the cannabis industry brings into their community, and it's not these big boxes that are spreading the money around. It's these groups of individuals all over that have come together that have passion for this and that are going to spread that money back into their communities. So
well, there should be mentioned too that
whether they own a shoe store, a liquor store. Well, I don't know. Too many cannabis people maybe are spending money in liquor stores, but a shoe store. You're selling toothpaste. I don't care what you're selling. You're gonna feel the effects of this monopoly coming in and trying to shut down the small folks.
Well, that's the problem, and that's that's why we'll never go away. You know what I mean?
If you think about Dabfest, we were bringing 250 people into Duncan. The Travel Lodge is just about booked up. 2 other motels are getting close to full.
Hey,
I got my hotel booked up, Annissa.
No, I didn't get my room booked yet.
I got my room booked up, Annissa. I'm coming to Duncan now.
Good. So that's what you're saying. Okay.
So, I mean, we're bringing in all this money over a weekend. The venue itself told me that they weren't very busy. They were happy to get the business. We were having them open their concession. So they were having people employed that night. And to have the RCMP have interest in it now is a little, people are going to eat at restaurants, probably go shopping. A lot of people are taking the ferry, putting gas in their car. So I just wonder, do they not think about how much that would have helped the economy here?
I think it's going to perk more of our interest now that we know the RCMP got involved, because I think that's going to get the activists more interested. More people are going to come and show their support and say enough is enough. Leave us alone.
Should be known too that if I'm not mistaken, Tilray is in Nanaimo. So you know it's a little convenient that there was a report out by Caleb. You guys reported on it, but he had said that they're complaining about they laid off people there because of the medical makers, the concentrate makers, and the dispensaries.
They're blaming on the
so it's a little strange that now 10 of them get them letters and get shut down, right? And I also heard that the security at Tilray, I don't know if it's true, but the report said the security at Tilray are actually ex-police officers.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I've heard that exact same thing.
I wouldn't even say they're
high-level ranking police officers that have obviously got a lot of pull in the force. You know.
Well, look, they made a ton of weed, Chad. We talked about this, and we haven't forgot about this. John Conroy has told me he has not forgot about this either. A ton of weed went missing in Kamloops.
I'm pretty sure there's ex-DEA from the states that are involved in Tilray as
well. Well, another thing too is like all these fucking large producers are damn foreigners. They're foreign Americans. They're not Canadian-made businesses. Foreign investors mostly own them all. These large producers. Exactly. So it's like this isn't even our own Canadian BC bud, which is a staple around the world, and it's going to get fucking stolen right from us. They're going to rape us and start.
I think it was 40% of the people were local investors or something. They said, or at least they probably hid the money as local. And then now it's literally nothing. There's barely any local investors at all. This money that they're going to make off of these sick people is going to get completely extracted out of our economy, never to be seen again.
That's right. I know, which is totally disgusting. And so it's like it's gonna everything like that. A monopoly of it and everything is not a good thing. It's gonna be way more bad than it ever is good. And there'll be new laws for those that work and operate outside of that framework.
They're here to crush the good
which
people
will keep
like
the prisons full.
They're here to crush the good people like Annissa, the good people like Chad, the good people that are out there doing patient providing and directing traffic in that respect to make sure that we continue to say, hell no. We're not going to accept this. We're going to kick up dust. We're going to have this price war if we need to until this is over. And somehow a market emerges that we can all agree is free and fair.
Hell no, we won't go.
Fuck no.
It's ridiculous. The more they do these totalitarian things,
I've been chanting that. Chanting that.
The more they
years in marches. Hell no, we won't go.
Sorry, we're having our own little march.
No,
well, you know, we've been saying that for years. It's true. We've been saying that. Free the weed. Fucking.
Give her a Chad. It's my show, Chad. We're quiet.
Before they do these totalitarian things like they're doing in Nanaimo, you know, I honestly feel it's really just going to backfire on them in the end because they're exposing how just ridiculous and corrupt and terrible they are. You know, I mean. And how the hypocrisy in this whole thing, you know, it's going to expose them more and more and more. The community is going to get more and more upset about it. I believe more and more people are going to rise up. The more people do rise up, even in the cannabis community, that were in the gray areas and the shadows a bit, and start saying this is ridiculous and start standing up, the more they're going to bring other people from all walks of life all over the place. I think we can stop this because it's so blatant and in everybody's face how ridiculous all this really is.
Absolutely. 100% agree. Well, the thing is, with a monopoly like this, though, that's the problem because the Liberals' party platform on marijuana on their page said they want to make stronger they'll create stronger laws for those that supply it to children and work outside of that regulatory framework. So the bottom line is
that's Bill C-10. Just if you're not doing the equation, Bill C-10. Yeah. If remember, Mark said no more going to jail for our brothers and sisters. Bullshit.
Yeah, and this started out as no prison for pot. That's why this movement fucking started. So we're going to have a regulatory system.
I really forgive all these people that, you know, just said, oh, just don't worry about standing up for your rights and just go vote instead of doing anything. I forgive them, but like we're still in the same position,
Well,
guys.
we need to find out who's on what sides and draw the party lines and say, guys, join forces, come together, and understand that the cannabis. I said this in 2012. I just released a video on Facebook again to show it. In 2012, I said they're trying to hijack and corner the market. That's all they're doing. I told you what they were going to do. I told you how many fucking companies there were going to be right now at this time. It was all predicted, and it's here. We're telling you now, we're getting our asses kicked.
Yeah, and at the One Man Smoke Show, we told everybody that the fucking regulations designed by the city were nothing more than shutdown, elimination, and extortion of the ones that are left. And we, after going through 105 approximate people that the city listened to at the public forum, I had my 5 minutes. You don't get much to say in 5 fucking minutes, I'll tell you that. But even after listening to 105 real stories, because I was there through the whole thing, real stories from some patients that reasons why the medical ban was bad, reasons why, like real stories why the 300-meter rule and the closures of clubs would hurt them. And after listening to that, they changed nothing. So, which basically now 11 go through out of 176 come April 23rd or 26th.
Yeah, but then they strike compliance and they say now you have to sell your right.
That's right.
And then checkmate. They got, and then here's the kicker: they're also soliciting the provincial formulary, which is provincial pharmacare. If they get that, no disability person will spend their money on any more underground fucking weed because this is checkmate.
Yeah.
In the end of the big game.
That's a game changer right there. That's a game changer because
that's a checkmate.
If you're getting your meds covered by Medicare, but it has to be LP weed, which is the way that it is.
You're going to go with that before the friggin' milk, man.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you're going to take the milk before the friggin'.
Yes, government's working in the favor of the LPs on that one too now, aren't they?
Well, the LPs are soliciting them. See,
dirty bastards.
So far, WorkSafe is covering LP weed. WorkSafe is covering it. They've already got that. That's what I mean. They've been soliciting the provincial formularies. Means that we don't know which province. Likely Ontario, because Ontario's coming out progressive. They could come out and say, now this year we're going to legalize, or we're going to go ahead and do it, and say that it's okay. So,
I think a lot of the weed's imported to begin with.
Well, Bedrocan just came out and admitted they did their first, or I don't know if it's Bedrocan, did their first crop, and the rest of it all before that what had been imported from the Netherlands. They were selling Canadian sick patients imported gamma processed crappy weed that another country didn't even freaking want. That's the kind of people we're dealing with. Suits that look at digits and paper. They do not look at people
they'd
and
like
compassion.
to have it grown in third world countries where they've already got them under such, control and poverty that they can just whip them with a stick and, sell it to us until we get to that point.
Yeah, if you look up the large producers, rules and regulations on if you want to be a large producer, you can Google that too, because I fucking have.
No,
one of the requirements is importing and exporting.
And that's just to let you weigh in here now. What's your take? They went and they banned edibles. They here in the city of Vancouver now. So far, they're not doing this, but like you said, they're looking to shut down all dispensaries in Nanaimo. In all reality, you don't stand a chance under the present platform, that they have for the MMPR to get any sort of license to run your business, so.
No, but Victoria is totally different from Nanaimo, where the city council has taken it to take an approach like Vancouver, but they've decided not to go with the hefty $30,000 fees. So I'm in Duncan, which is in the middle. So it just means more driving over the Malahat for us and for patients, because people now will, if they do shut the Nanaimo dispensaries down, they're going to have to go to a city that allows it, which, it's the Trans-Canada Highway, so I don't understand how the same rules just can't apply the whole way, and kind of makes it just doesn't make sense that I can go to Victoria and everything will be fine. They're going to allow edibles. They're going to allow everything. Now I'm expecting some major rules to come with Vancouver Island Health Authority. But I'm prepared for that. I'm already testing. I'm in a certified kitchen. I have my water tested, have my products tested. So I don't make any sense of what's going on here in Nanaimo, that's for sure.
Yeah,
well, I testify here edibles. I think they're freaking awesome. I don't say that a lot because I don't try a lot of edibles, just frankly from, I like to make my own and that's it. But when it came to, trusting friends and trusting different people, I've had a chance to try Mary J edibles and telling you that's where it's at. So where can they find you, Mary J?
You can find me on Facebook at Mary J's Edible Medibles. And I have an Instagram account.
Yeah.
And you can find me at any dispensary in Victoria. I'm in Beard Brothers. I'm in Trees.
Yeah, you're the one that does the dog cookies as well, right?
Yes, I do dog cookies. And now
Yeah,
I'm also,
awesome. Yeah, they're at our dispensary at the Beard Brothers. So yeah.
We can contest
Well,
one man
next
smoke
day,
show.
pumpkin and peanut butter. They just love them.
We've been eating
Yeah.
we've been eating your medibles every week on the one man smoke show, Mary J. You know
Yeah,
that. You've been
I guess I'm Freddie's sponsor for his YouTube show, so that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
she's been sponsoring us at the One Man Smoke Show, and every week we do a weekly medible. And
No, I'm jealous, man.
Oh, the one week we did five.
Annissa,
We did five of her cookies.
Need a new sponsor.
Yeah, we did
Well,
five
I
cookies
do,
right in a row
Christmas
one time. We got
cookies.
pretty
We're gonna
high.
be the first company that's offering a medicated cookies and some cookies for the munchies.
Beautiful.
So we're
Well,
doing that.
I'm really happy that you're offering, the man's best friend some medicated cookies as well, because, I've had a couple of issues with, different dogs that I've had in the past that were my good buddies that, got cancer, and I wanted to give them something, and I didn't know at the time, I didn't know how to administer it. So I can see how people would be, going through these troubles and not knowing where to get, a proper dosed, cookie for a pet.
And
It's a great idea.
The real medical side and the real benefit of cannabis and your own endocannabinoid system is full plant eating it, ingesting, as opposed to smoking, vaping. Sure, that can give you a lot of effects, but for cancer and those kinds of hardcore diseases, in my experience, is medibles or ingesting of cannabis, whole plant specifically. I mean, hey.
Absolutely, and it's really hard to get a dog to vape too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the dog biscuits out there are high CBDs, and mine aren't. It's a lot of kush, and it's ground up totally in there, and it's very, very low dosage, but it seems to help for dogs later in life, dogs with high anxiety, especially ones who have, when the owner leaves them and they can't be left alone. A cookie a half hour before they go, and they come home and everything's fine.
A lot of dogs have GI tract problems, and I would imagine cannabis, just like in humans, would help the GI tract and the bowels. A lot of dogs actually die from trying to take it down. I had a few dogs. I've had dogs all my life, but
it's funny that you mentioned that too. I mean, edibles isn't the only way to go either. I just did an episode. We talked about how Tommy John.
Suppository,
we shoved a couple suppositories up our bum for the first time. I got high out my ass, Jason.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
my friend told me back east.
He goes,
"I had the best sleep I ever had, man."
I was fucking
suppositories,
yeah. But before we did that, we had we have fun on the One Man Smoke Show first, but we talk about the seriousness of it, And indeed, we did some research.
And it is serious. In all seriousness, we're not joking about this. In all seriousness, it is on the real.
Yeah, well, you absorb 70% of cannabis through your bum, where you'd only get it like 30% through ingesting it, and you get it 20% through smoking and vaping. Yeah. So, I was like, holy fuck, I want to get high out my bum. I got 70%.
That was the most out of my medicine, man. That's going up my bum.
Well, yeah,
that's it. I want the best out of my medicine.
Yeah, we turned it into a real pop.
There you go. There's a tip for you. You want the most out of your medicine? Stick it up your bum.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, there's a serious side. Serious side of it, though. Tommy Chong, we found out Tommy Chong cleared us up his prostate cancer.
It's true, though. This way
with these suppositories, right?
Yes, the serious side of it is that, yes, the suppositories are there. We need to look into this. We need to talk about this, because what is it for people as men?
Yeah.
Especially for us.
Well, I'll tell you what it did for my slip disc. It did great. It seemed like that was. I mean, it was an overpack it was a total overpack up the hoop, because I'm serious, man. I'm serious, because they said out of a gram of oil they get 10 or 20 suppositories. We asked them to pack up the whole gram of oil in 2, so we did a whole gram of oil up our bummy, buddy. We were really high.
I would guess so.
Yeah,
70% intake.
But I'll tell you, my slip disc was so fucking relaxed. I was relaxed all over. I felt like a hippie with short hair.
My friend,
and I was munching down on Mary J's edibles, fucking eating her cookies. Oh yeah, dabbing, smoking. So fucking free the weed, man. I'm not hurting anybody. I don't think
Carly
anybody.
on from CanadaMed is coming to the Dabfest as well, and she's actually bringing suppositories and information to pass out to anybody who'd like it. Because your show, actually, a lot of people really want more information now. So you did really educate the people with that one, Freddie, and it was hilarious.
Thanks. Yeah, well, that's what the show's about. Weedtainment with education, activism, memorials for drug war victims. Always talking about cannabis. If it ain't about cannabis, we ain't talking about it, which is the same thing as this show. The same thing, man. It's a beautiful show. I love watching this show. I watch it all the time.
I've been doing this since, it's been 8 years now, so.
Yeah, I've been watching you follow you along when that's really why I like you.
There was only
Jason,
me, Opus, and Rainbow
because you tell the truth.
Well, yeah,
you know?
we do. We've always been about the truth, and that's why
the truth hurts.
You and I were talking about this. Let's talk about this for a second, because
Chad, the faster you pull that Band-Aid off, the less that pain is, right?
Get it over.
So those people that aren't willing to let go of the lies, right? That it hurts more.
Yeah, well, let's get into Freddie and I were talking about this before, though. Why is it that people start hating? Like, why is it like you and I were talking about this before the show? It's the more we give, the more they hate. Well,
What do you mean?
Well, not hate, but we were talking about as you're growing and trying to grow out a YouTube channel, as you're trying to grow it out, you start getting these idiots that just want to make negative comments, but then you get the positive people, and then you start to grow out, you blossom.
Well,
maybe
in anything you're going to have a lot of jealousy, Jay, and I would ignore any of that stuff. And then also you got to think there's going to be a lot of government agent tours and people working for these LPs that are going to just try to bring down morale on sites and put out negative comments and try to make other people think that what we're doing is somehow corrupted or something too.
Yeah, I don't even
cause
care
rumors and all
haters.
kinds of things.
I got a pretty small hater fan base, that's for sure. I got way big. I got a lot of likes on my videos when I do a live show. So, but I noticed, like, I did a video where I just read the Liberals' platform on cannabis, where they said they were going to make new and stronger and harsher laws, and they might create a new provincial, municipal, and federal territorial task forces. So well, I know that's what it said.
You mean
I only read though.
Already there at our the event police that were at Cannabis Day. Did you notice that on every officer had event police?
Yeah.
Or event unit.
Well, that's the 51,
whatever it was called.
C51 now, right?
They were a C51 unit. That's what I'm saying. They were already using C51 before the fucking shit was even implemented. I mean, they that was the first strike. That was the first time they used photo recognition on us, and they also tried to shut us down. They quite literally tried to do a show
photo
for us.
recognition, though, has been around a little while.
No, but they haven't used it on us.
Not on maybe stoners,
not the cannabis community.
Maybe not on stoners, but I was down at the C51 or the shutdown protest that happened on Commercial there, where we shut down the harbor at Commercial in Hastings for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Posted up a video about that. Shut down Canada. A whole bunch of cities were supposed to get involved, but there was about 150 of us. But they were doing it down there on them, and I was in there, the one-man smoke show.
Yeah, but you can see that.
But it was the same thing, but...
Yeah, but for the first time for the cannabis
maybe for
culture,
stoners, yeah.
I remember they wrapped the back of the art gallery. They wrapped that up and said it's closed for renovation. They took that fence down the next day. That forced us to not only push back with the police in the morning to allow 10,000 people to arrive in the afternoon. So I know I'm going a bit off topic
Cannabis
here.
Day.
This has been a long
show. That was
show.
Cannabis Day.
Anissa, anything you would like to close out here with, dear?
Well, even though we've sold out for the event, we'd probably like to get another room and offer any MMAR patients or MMPR patients that would like to come to Dabfest free of charge.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Freaking
fucking right.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
They're more than welcome to come and check it out. But you do need to kind of know somebody that's going to Dabfest, because it is a private page on Facebook.
I'm going, and I got 2 seats.
I'm
going.
As long
as you're not a serial killer.
But if you shoot me a message at Mary J's Edible Medibles on Facebook, and show us your license, we'll give you a couple free tickets.
Right on. All right, Annissa.
I can't wait to see everybody this weekend and next weekend. It should be 2 really awesome weekends.
Yeah, back-to-back weekends coming up, and we'll be bringing footage to you here on Cannabis in Canada as well. In closing, once again, Annissa, thank you for coming on the show. Gentlemen, Chad, as always, great show.
Awesome
Freddie,
seeing you, Annissa and Joel.
Joel,
great
thank
to
you for
see you,
popping
brother,
on there.
man.
Do you have any
Chad. Great
shout
talking
outs,
with
Joel?
you,
Well,
Chad.
I never even
Yeah, you
said
too,
hi.
Freddie. We got to really do this again, and
Yeah,
maybe more personal. We got to really get together and burn one down and talk more on this stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And
Got
Joel
it,
and Annissa.
Dabfest.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know if I'm 100% going to be there. I want to try. I'm not trying to make excuses. My dad happens to be in the hospital right now, and I'm pretty busy. But I will do my best.
All right. Well, thanks for having
All right.
us on.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on, Joel. Chad, have a good night.
All right,
and
that was
Freddie, my
awesome.
brother, we'll keep doing
Yeah,
some
man.
dabs. To everybody out there, stay tuned for next week, and we'll continue covering more in cannabis in the country of Canada.
Free the
Cheers.
weed.
Free the weed.
Night.
See you guys.
Free the weed.
Peace.
Cannabis in Canada.